Every year, we hear from top doctors across Canada how dangerous the impacts of wildfire smoke can be on one's health. But we aren't the only ones affected. The smoky skies impact all the way down the food chain to the smallest of animals, insects. Well, some of these tiny creatures actually need fire to survive.
There's some insects, oddly enough, that will lay their eggs, the females will lay their eggs on dead trees recently killed by forest fires. And these eggs will hatch into larvae, and the larvae will go into the dead, burnt trees and feed on them. So forest fires are actually beneficial to some of the animals and trees and plants in the forest.
Just like any natural cycle, there's a fine balance.
The planet is definitely changing. These kind of mega disturbances will almost invariably generate some damages that will be hard to recover from.
It's harder for insects to find their host plants in smoky and polluted environments because the smoke can mask the smell and visual cues they use to find flowers and trees. But why should we care about these tiny insects? Well, they actually play a very big role in forest management.
The insects are pollinators and they're decomposers, so these are all positive roles.
And after a wildfire, there may be fewer flowers available for pollinators that rely on nectar to survive.
There will be some winners and some losers. Some of the insects are adapted, but others will not be. And it's quite possible, some of the insects that can't fly very far or that can't move. And if we have these very large areas that are destroyed, it might become difficult for some of those species to survive.
Well, this past summer, we saw billions of animals, particularly sea creatures, being impacted by the extreme heat. Dr. Richard Hamlin says it's too soon to tell what the exact impacts will be on insects.
It's going to take a while before we see if there's some species that didn't come back.
But he does believe that this is a big wake-up call.
I think the fear is that it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, and then the impact is even less predictable the bigger it gets.